What is up? Welcome back to another logo critique, and thank you for joining me today. I heard that these are helping a little bit with some of the people who I talked to, and so we're gonna keep on doing them. This logo comes to us today from the famous Jabreel, who is from St. Cloud Technical and Community College, currently in the Northway program, and I assume this is a client for that as well. This logo I think is actually pretty cool. A very cool logo. I love the texture of it. I love the feel of it. I could see this on bottles and things like that. I do get a hint of like a clip art feel to it, but I think we can do some things to fix that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Stray points are coming from this wine glass over here in the word vino, and then I also noticed that there's some white space here that doesn't look intentional. Some of these problems I'm actually going to just nix altogether because I don't think that you need this oval. I do like it, you know, I don't think it's bad. I think it matches the feel of the font and the playful icon you have here. But honestly, when I was looking at this earlier, I did something and I thought it just came out way stronger. We're just going to highlight it, make this purple, you know, look at that. Just that simplification, I mean, that's an extremely memorable sign. And you know, I get why it's on the oval because, you know, for signage and things like that, you want to kind of leave a clear impression, make it maybe stand out a little bit more. But like on a business card or something, like this would just look so good by itself. I think this looks so nice. But I'm going to edit it a little bit further. Let's zoom in and just clean up a lot of these stray points that you have going on. I don't think we need them. I think that it's just excessive data for no reason. You can't see them when you zoom out, things like that. So let's just get rid of them. We don't need them. Just get rid of all of these points. I mean, even this, like some of these like skinnier lines, I don't think we need. There's a point here we don't need. And the best way to do this, if you wanted to retain the shape, is to use the pen tool. I have my stuff hidden. Sorry about that. The best thing to do is have your pen tool, and when you have this whole shape selected, you can actually subtract points, you know, things like that, and it actually keeps the shape intact then. Whereas if you just use the direct select tool and delete the point, you're actually breaking that line, and then the shape isn't filled all the way, and you don't want that. I'm not really sure how you made this, even, to be honest. It almost looks like you just took the pen tool and just kind of went nuts, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I would like to see these points cleaned up a little bit more. And I'm just gonna flesh out this part. I don't think that this needs to be choppy like that. I can see where I made a little bit of a mess here, but maybe it just does this. There, that looks a little bit better. The only problem is that I don't know if this is supposed to be an E or an O, and that's kind of where I'm running into an issue. Is I'm not sure how to fix this at all because I don't know what the word is. If it's vino or if it's vine, I'm not entirely sure. So another thing is I don't feel like this ampersand fits necessarily with this font or this font, and I know it was probably paired with one of them, but I don't know. It happens a lot when you have a typeface that doesn't have a great ampersand. So you can just go through and look for maybe something that fits a little bit better. I don't know off the top of my head if there is one that fits perfectly. So we're just gonna have to experiment a little bit. Nothing wrong with that though. So I did a little bit of experimenting with the ampersands, and I didn't really find one that I liked better, but that's because I found out that wasn't actually the problem. As I was digging, I looked into it a little bit, and I just noticed that the reason it felt so awkward is because the thickness on hops and vinyl are so different, and you made them contrast in that way, which isn't a bad thing, but then you also had the size contrast there, which made them so small. It was like a super afterthought rather than something kind of forward as part of the name. Like it almost felt more like a slogan, like vino and hops. So you know what I mean? That's kind of how it felt. So I just made it a little bit bigger. I did choose a little bit thicker of an ampersand. Excuse me, by the way. I can't stop my body functions, just like I can't stop these logo functions. Funny stuff? No? Alright, well, I tried. So, let's just get back into business then, since comedy's definitely not my game. So I just made it a little bit bigger, and put it together a little bit stronger. So there's a little bit of weight here that brings you down to the ampersand. I felt that the curvature of the V would lead you to the bottom line and make it a little bit more legible, put it together a little bit more. But you still get the emphasis on this cool design you have on top. But you know, something like this also just looks good in black. And if you have like a white background or a black background, it also just looks good in white. Oops, sorry about that. Come on, there we go. It also just looks good in white. Bring it to the front. Bring it to the back. There we go. You know, it just looks good. It looks good in all of its shapes. You know, maybe you have a secondary color where it's just like golden, you know. I mean, that looks nice too. I mean, I like it. You know, bring this box down maybe. Looks nice. So yeah, I would definitely experiment with that. I would maybe lose the oval, to be honest. I think the oval's really cool. I think it's a lot of texture, but I think it takes away from your really cool icon that you have here. I think that piece is really cool, and I think that you should kind of stick with that as the main focus. And so when I pull it out, I think it looks a lot nicer. I think it looks a lot more simple, and it gives your emphasis on the right pieces of the artwork. Yeah, you just don't want to overclutter your work, you know. So let's just go ahead and we can put this into the comments. Which do you prefer? Do we like the circular oval, or do we like it without? I like I said before a million times, I personally like things to be simple and clean. I think that this would stand out better than the circle would, because think about all the branding around you. Everything's usually pretty simple, and if it's not, you kind of lose it. Imagine if this was sitting on your desk and you have a bunch of paperwork. This is gonna feel like part of the clutter. This is gonna feel simple and clean, in my opinion at least. So tell me what you think below. Did I ruin it or did I fix it? That's what we're all about here on Logo Critique, and hopefully I will see you next time. Thanks a lot.